So, welcome to the Wednesday night hobby stream. So tonight, I was planning on just doing a bit more of my Plague Burst crawler because it was for like the Swansea thing, Wargaming Club, army painting challenge. But we've settled on what we're doing for Saturday, bro. 24-hour stream. You might have seen on the schedule that we've got Warhammer's 40k skirmish booked in. So what we've decided, well, Simon came up with a scenario. We're going to do 500 points. 500 point game, which is me versus Simon. Do you want to explain the scenario, Si?
Yeah, so I thought what would be a nice little change would be to go a bit old school with the scenario. So we're going back to the days of Rogue Trader. And I've dusted off the old Battle at the Farm scenario, which is the narrative scenario that came in the Rogue Trader rulebook. And so that basically pits a beleaguered force of Marines against an Ork patrol. But I thought that's straight battles are all well and good, but I thought we'll give it a bit of a twist. So this time, basically the 500 point Marine detachment has to survive until turn 5. Whereas the Orks have a variant of the meat grinder rule from Days of Yore. So basically, every time an Ork unit is completely destroyed, other than the war boss, they can come straight back on again from Ricky's table edge and keep coming. So waves and waves of reinforcement. So we will see how heroic Marines really are.
So what I've done so that we can use it as kind of an introduction game as well is I've gone with the stock collecting box of Orks, and so like that comes in at about 300 points, but it's also not a legal list. So what I've done is I've made it up to 500 points and made it a legal list by adding in a war boss and a truck, because they kind of like staples of Ork lists as well.
Yeah, and they're logical complements for the other things that come in the start collecting box as well, aren't they? So
yeah, so when we decided that, I realized for the first time ever, I'm almost at the point where I can field a fully painted army, except I have never painted any of the knobs that I've got because I don't use them. So I am going to try tonight to paint very, very basically contrast paints on 5 knobs so that when we play on Saturday, I have got a fully painted complement of Orks.
Nice. Whereas this evening I will be feeling mostly smug with myself because my Marines are already fully painted because they were a little project I did a little while ago. I'm not running the start collecting box. I've instead gone for 2 tactical squads and a Space Marine captain, and that's about it actually. So just a dismounted infantry squad, couple pair of squads to hunker down and trying to survive. Yeah, so it'll be interesting game, I reckon. You can watch me get my butts kicked 7 ways from Sunday.
I don't know. I only because you're saying about me coming back to life.
Yeah.
That is the only reason that the Orks are going to have a chance, I think, in the 500 point game. It's just that if they get up there, it'll be. But you might thin me out a bit too much by the time I get up there.
Yeah, so. It'll be interesting. I mean, I've gone for a sort of not a particularly combat punchy list. So my Space Marine captain, and I'm using all sort of old tactical Marines and none of the new fancy Primaris malarkey as well. Partly because that's what we've got, partly because just seems more fitting if we're going for an old school scenario. So the captain's the only one with any form of combat punch at all with a power fist. And then the squad sergeants have just got storm bolters, mix of heavy weapons in there. So again, classics where missile launcher flamer and heavy bolter flamer for the 2 squads. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. But if I can't slow them down before they reach me, especially that Death Dread, I'm going to get pounded to pulp.
Yeah, and then I'm like I don't tend to run shooters either, and so like I'm gonna run shooters for the first time just because I thought it'd be fun to show like people who aren't familiar with the game. They could watch me pick up like lots of dice and then put lots of dice back and go, and your turn.
So I reckon there's a little side thing for that game. We should keep count of how many points actually get killed on your side, because I think you are underestimating the Orks' capabilities and survivability, having played them previously myself. And I reckon you'll do better than you think. So it might be worth just keeping a little tally of sort of how many points the Orks account for versus how many points they lose. Because we're not playing victory points particularly, we're just playing a 5-turn survival. So, and yeah, just see whether objectively it's as bad as you feel it is sometimes when you're on the receiving end of a bucket of miss.
Yeah, it's not so much that. It's like obviously I've won games playing as Orks, so like it's not as bad as that. But you know, when I play against some of the Marines list, I just, if I don't get, especially with like the tactical doctrines and stuff like that, if I don't get like up the board
yeah,
and into combat quickly, it's just like and that's gone. Like when I played Kieran a couple of weeks ago, and I put every shot into one tank and didn't wipe it out.
Oh no, that was just unlucky.
And then he killed 2 units in return.
But yeah, I think just the god of statistics hated you that day, because with that weight of fire, you probably should have taken it down. And yeah, I think some days when you're gonna lose hard, you just have to laugh and see how badly you can go down.
It got to the point like the numbers, I think, in the end, because like we called it a draw in the end because like I had more points on the board, but I had no way to deal with what he had left, and I was just tying up his tank in like combat, so it couldn't really do any damage in return either.
Yeah.
So it was like they just a tank and a buggy driving into each other.
Parking lot wars.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, we've got lots of other exciting things planned for the 24-hour thing. So I'm looking forward to being part of that. It's going to be good fun, I think.
Yeah. We just I gotta put up a post once we finish this stream at some point about Kieran and Chris side. We got a couple of side streams going on, so we'll have Kieran and Chris doing some Warhammer related games on their individual channels. So Kogith and El Diabito.
They're going down the cooperative route, aren't they? For
this? So apart from on Blood Bowl, I guess.
Yeah. Gonna have to blow the cobwebs out somehow.
So and then I think we've got we've got Becky, Nathan, and Sheared Sheep Gaming doing some Phasmophobia.
Nice.
And that'll be on their channel first, and then jumping onto the stream for the last hour of their game. And obviously we've got Dark Days Radio doing their panel and not cosplay, and their RPG session over on their channel being streamed onto our channel. So it's going to be quite a big event.
Yeah, we've done well, and obviously today's guest announcement as well. Today or yesterday it went up? I lose all track of
yesterday evening.
I've slept since then, but yes, I'm quite excited to be speaking to Ian Livingston on So, well, we're going to be pre-recording it because unfortunately his schedule doesn't quite fit with getting him live on the event. But yeah, quite excited to record that interview ready for the stream. That will be a good thing.
So if you've got any questions for Ian, get them in by tomorrow. Tomorrow evening.
You could either send us a message on the Facebook. You could tweet us. You could what else could you do? You could
comment on Instagram.
You could even send us an old-fashioned email to info@scgc.org.uk. Crazy talk.
I know. But yeah, so we got that. We've also got comics guests that we need to announce. Well, artists anyway.
Yeah, we've got a couple of those slots, haven't we? That's
so we got Connor Boyle coming in to chat with us in the evening slot. And then we got Jake Detonator and Rachel Smith coming in the afternoon slot.
Nice.
There you go. Twitch exclusive for you all. And don't forget, this is all in aid of Wales Ape and Monkey Sanctuary. So if you can afford to donate, please donate. I've just dropped the link in the stream.
And if you're watching this at a later point, then the Marvels of Technological Wizardry will be putting the link up on the screen, although we haven't yet worked out how to hyperlink from our videos. We'll sort that out at a later point. It's a slow process, it's technology learning stuff.
I know. We've done quite a bit of it this year, though.
We have. Yeah, Rocket Pod is coming on nicely. My camera seems to be lower this week. Just trying to find an angle where you can see what I'm painting. I'm going to have to invest in one of those fancy camera arms that you've got, Ricky.
I know. It's a pity that it's not like on TV where you could go, yes, this fancy camera arm that I bought from Amazon, and then Amazon could send us one.
That would be lovely, but we have not reached the rarefied heights of paid promotion and sponsorship yet. But if anyone happens to be watching and wants to sponsor us, then please feel free.
Someone get in touch with us, not as SCGC, with the podcast yesterday.
Did they now? Cool.
Yes, but we don't know if it's real or not because it's a very dodgy name. But then it is something that does get advertised on podcasts. So it's a trimmer for your private areas.
That'll be dodge. It's totally going to be dodge.
So like immediately I thought, yeah, that's sus. But then, there is a company called Manscaped. It wasn't Manscaped who got in touch with us, but it was something similar.
Yeah. I rather suspect that'll be dodge and or they'll be going, yeah, if you buy our thing, because I've had people contact the shop saying, yeah, if you buy one of our things and then review it, then we'll give you a discount on further things. I'm like, no, that's just making you buy things, isn't it?
Yeah, that's just
sneaky sales.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's something that you don't want, but if you buy it,
and then tell other people about it, we might tell you.
We might give you 5% off.
Do you know what I forgot to do, Ricky?
What have you forgotten to do?
I forgot to grab myself any more Ultramarine Blue from the shop, so I have not going to be painting much more of this plane this evening. I mean, to be fair, the first coat is already on nicely and it's starting to look pretty together, but yes, I have the barest smear of paint left, so I probably won't get too far on this one. I'll switch back to doing the Leviathan in a bit. I'm also quite happy because my mate down in Portsmouth, who we get magnets off through the store, has been back in touch, and so we've got a magnet restock inbound for the shop, which would be nice. And no doubt I'll be picking some of those up myself so I can work out how to mount this landing pad on for the plane.
So I could tell that I spray painted these knobs rather than Kieran.
Is it?
There are fingerprints on them, and they're a bit too light on the spray or a bit heavy in places.
Oh dear.
Yeah. It's fine. Then they're going to be quick. I've got plenty of knobs.
Yeah, things you never thought you'd be saying a few years ago.
Yeah, I got plenty of knobs. So,
I'm surprised you don't use them more in games, actually, because when I was playing Orks, I'd have a knob with each unit of boys. I'd have possibly a unit of mega knobs running around as well. I was quite addicted to them, mostly because they could all take power claws.
Yeah, so I think the first time I like the ones I'm going to be playing with on Saturday are just choppers. But the first time that I played with them, I think it was before I even had the truck. So they walked up the field. They got there for the last turn and did nothing because there was nothing left to do. Because by the time they walked up the bloody field,
Yep.
and then when I got a truck coming at people really fast, especially Space Marine players, it disappears quite quick.
Yeah, you've got to give them saturation of targets. So 3 things you want to stop getting them rather than 1.
So that it is that when I've managed to get knobs in, it's been all right. But because I was building a speed freak army as well, I have like bikes that do the same job as knobs, I guess.
Yeah.
And faster. So like it's more that I think. And then yeah, it's a bit more that of it all. And so yeah, and then they've like I I'm not really like I've painted more in this last year than I've ever painted, and I've painted more since we've been doing this stream again because I'd stopped painting. I'd had enough of painting after last summer, and yeah, so like I was painting things that I play with regular more than these things, and I think the first Lord I built all with claws.
I think as well it depends when you started playing as well, because when we were in a more sort of close combat-y era, claws were sort of the be-all and end-all of they're the best thing you could give them in close combat, even if they struck last. They were just so hitty and damagey.
I just like the look of them, to be fair. I give them all bloody claws. And not that, because like I just tend to, I don't really usually do WYSIWYG. If I can do it, I will. But for the most part, I'm just going to
build what's cool.
What I want to run. And like, yeah, he might have got 2 claws, but he's actually got a chopper and slugger.
Just paint numbers on the bases or somewhere on them for easy reference, and then you go.
To be fair, I've got enough of them now that I can basically run them as WYSIWYG. But when I first got my first start collecting box and built them up, it was like, ooh, claws look fun. I didn't think about play wise or anything. It was just like, they look cool. I'm going to build them with them.
Yeah, it's an entirely valid decision.
So, and then later on, it was like, you know what? It's like with my boys as well. I think I built most of my boys with sluggers and choppers at first, and because like that's the style I like, especially with Evil Sons running up there as fat with a +1 to charge with here we go, and so like
Yeah,
Weird
it's what
boy.
orcs are meant to do, isn't it?
Yeah. Weird boy. The jump. Charge.
Yep.
So, like, yeah, I don't need that bucket of dice because I'll have the bucket of dice when I'm punching things instead. And the ones that when you're punching things actually tend to hurt things a bit more.
Yes, yeah.
Not because they hit particularly harder. Kieran Jenkins is saying that the conversation sounds a bit thing out of context, weird.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't particularly hit any harder than the sluggers. It's just I think because you hit on a lower number,
Yep, so you've got...
you get more conversions, and you force them to roll more dice and more chance of them
the name
getting
of the game,
through a bit more. Yeah. Chris is watching as well. Chris has got a nice thing going on in. If you come to our Discord, the miniatures chat, he's got some nice
Marvel
World
ones.
Eaters
Oh,
on
okay.
World Eat. He got a Khan the Betrayer that he's put up.
Oh,
because,
nice. I'll have to have a look at that later.
Yeah. But if anyone's looking for an entry army and fancies Gene Stealer cult, I might know someone who's getting rid of one.
Ooh. Who's that then?
Chris.
Oh, Chris, is he? Cool.
Yeah. Like a chunk of what I got. Chris likes all the armies, I think. And so like I had a load of my orcs off him because when we were playing last year, he was playing Tau, and then he sold his Tau army as well. And I don't think he liked the. Oh, they're on eBay already. Look. Yeah, I don't think he particularly liked the Tau play style.
Yeah, no, I quite liked Tau when I had them. Although I did tend to fall down the big suits route, which always looks cooler. But
well, Chris had big suits, but he liked to run them in, so it really didn't suit the way that he was playing.
Yeah, you've got to be darting about and trying to keep your distance generally.
Yeah, so the thing is, okay, those big suits when they shoot are pretty impressive, but for a shooty army, they don't shoot particularly well.
No, it's always been a bone of contention that they're not more accurate. But I guess they sacrifice accuracy for punch, and if they were as accurate as, say, Marines with all the toys, or more accurate than Marines with all the toys, then they'd be too good, or would have to cost loads more.
Yeah, but at the same time, Marines are that accurate, and they can punch you as well. But at the but Tau, they can't. If you get into them,
Yeah,
that's it. They're gone. And Kieran Jenkins has got an army with big suits and with swords as well. He's saying. Yeah, I like the aesthetic of the Tau, but I don't think their play style would suit me at all.
See, I think sometimes it's good to have armies with different playstyles, because otherwise you basically end up playing the same way with all your armies, and there's no sort of real difference between it. So
I get that.
I quite enjoyed having sort of an army that does it this way, an army that does it that way. But then I also liked having money and space. Yeah, I had too many armies when I started selling them off. So down to just Guard Marines, Tyranids and sort of Genestealer cults. They're sort of an ongoing project, but I've carefully painted them in the same colours as my guard generally, so I can use all the tanks and things like that to save on the number of units I have to do.
You're cutting out a bit on your audio, Si.
Okay, that's very
I
strange.
don't think we missed anything, is what you were saying, but it was just chunks. Yeah, I didn't ever intend to go more than one army. As I say, as I've got like, what, 4?
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, and I would I could be tempted to another easily.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
once
I'm
I'm
a
finished
sucker
this
for them.
lot, I'm going to get a few more nights done, I think, and finish up my stompy forces.
So I've been tempted by that bloody Chaos Knight for a while now, and I was thinking about doing it so that I could run just a big stupid Nurgle list where, like, I don't care about, well, especially before the Demon Army Codex comes out, so that they don't get punished too much for being souped.
Yeah.
I want to do the Demon so I got the Great Unclean one. So I would run him, a Knight, Mortarion, and then Nurgle.
Defilers and Soul Grinders?
No, I was just going to go then with like the Nurgle demons, so like Plague Bearers and Plague Drones.
If you're going to go big, you might as well play a stupidly low command points game. Spend all your command points on extra detachments of things and get all of the toys out.
I've got the 2 Soul Grinders and
2 Defilers as well, isn't it? 1 or 2?
1 Defiler.
Oh yeah, no, that was... Yeah. I think I'm actually going to have to cut this bottle open to get any more paint out of it. It's desperate times. So prepare for Simon to get completely covered in paint as he... Don't try this at home, kids.
These guys are not going to be pretty at all. They're going to battle ready. I'll have to try and some of the other knobs that I've got around here that haven't been painted, I'm going to have to try and make them pretty to make up for these ones. But they're going to be painted, and that's the main thing. Yeah, Chris is saying he struggles to find a style that suits him, but thinks he'll be happy with World Eaters. So, I don't know how they're going to do this whole single army thing for when it comes to Chaos. For like Chaos Space Marines Codex. I guess they do it for the
I think
Marines anyway.
I think they're going to have to do something about linking demons back in and things like that as well, because I can't see them giving up on that, if you know what I mean. Because it's been such a part of it for so long. And it wouldn't make sense for them from a business point of view either. Because if they can be getting people to buy stuff from 2 different armies, then there's always the chance that someone will collect 2 different armies.
Yeah, and that's why I've got bloody 4 armies. Like, I bought the Chaos off you, and then needed a rule book, so it was like, well, we'll buy the Dark Imperium box set. Kieran can have the Marines, and I'll take the Death Guard stuff, because you can put Plague Marines into like a Chaos list as elites. And then I had enough to run like a detachment, so it was like, you know what, I've got a Death Guard army now. And then I bought Chris's half of his Dark Imperium as well, and then I've got a decent sized Death Guard army. And the Chaos Space Marines that I bought off you had some Nurgle demons with them, so I got a Death Guard army now who are Nurgly. So I've got a Nurgle demon, Death Guard, and Chaos Space Marine armies now, and then obviously my Orks. He said Kieran said he's about a day or two away from having his Grey Knights fully painted.
That's pretty cool. Exciting times.
And Chris has said he's still got Eldar bits that he needs to sell as well.
Oh, I've got loads of Eldar I need to shift on for the shop at some point. I haven't got around to doing anything about it.
We've had Kieran Jenkins was on about maybe getting rid of his Zeech earlier. Zinch, I can never say that.
Zinch.
That guy. Yeah. Those guys.
Thousand Suns, was it?
No, not the Thousand Suns side of it.
Just the
he's got the
demons.
demons because of this whole no souping, being penalised to soup them. And even though for like Thousand Suns, Death Guard, like Death Guard have got Nurglings all over them. They come with bloody Nurglings to put on your bases and stuff, and yet you're now not allowed to run any Nurglings in a Death Guard army.
Yeah, it doesn't always make sense, does it? It's, I don't know. I think it's a shame to get rid of them, especially as you guys play Age of Sigmar as well, because gives you an Age of Sigmar usable force that you may find sort of a codex down the line changes back to being combinable, or the Chaos Demons codex may have the combining options when they get around to releasing that. So yeah, I wouldn't jump too quickly.
Yeah, I'm so that's one of the things that soaked me on the Nurgle as well, was that, you know what, we'll probably end up trying Age of Sigmar. It fits with what I've got now, so let's just pick some up, give them a go, and worst case scenario, I can run them in 40k. I got no sound from you, Simon. So if you try,
no, I'm pondering. I think concentrating too hard. What's that? There we are. Oh, Chris is just saying he's got some ogres around, but I was just thinking to myself the other day, what I probably want to do as my next project is Ogrins for 40k. So can't remember whether I've mentioned this before. Back in the day, I had an idea for running an all Ogrin sort of guard company, and sort of kit bashing them with heavy weapons and bits and bobs as well. And obviously it wouldn't work rules wise these days, but it would be a fun little project to do, a sort of like proper Ogrin regiment, if you know what I mean. So so I might have a play with that idea and see how I can fit it into current rule set, and so whether I can make something playable with just Ogrins, Bulgrins, and Nork Dog as the HQ. Maybe a common.
So yeah, I like that idea, because I always like the idea of running grots. I don't want to paint that many grots though, but you know, you could probably get away with doing a grot army. It would be a lot of models on the field though, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And you'd have to not mind losing a lot, because
oh, I know.
Well, I suppose you could do mostly grot vehicles with a few sort of core units of troops, and that wouldn't be so bad. Just
so like
creatively remodel the herder into a grot with a whip or a pair of grots or something on base.
Because like my get around would be things like you could have a big mech with a shock attack gun, because even though that's probably not good for grots, it fits the aesthetic that it's a grot weapon.
Yeah.
And then you got the mech guns, which are all grot operated.
Yep.
You got killer cans for mini dreadnoughts.
Yeah. You could even put a Death Dread in, because who says that it's not grots driving it?
Yeah. They've stolen a Death Dread off the Orks.
I mean, I guess the trick to do it is build yourself a 500-point force for it. Get that up to snuff and see whether you go insane painting that many grots to just 500 points, and if you don't, add more.
I think I've made a list before, because me and Kieran were on about he was going to do a Fenrisian wolf list.
Nice.
And we were going to have a silly game with Fenrisian wolves versus grots.
Excuse me. Would he take Thunderwolves as well, or just Fenrisian wolves?
I think it was just Fenrisians. But, I'm not sure if he had Thunderwolves as well. But, and then the guy on the sled.
Yeah,
we always call him Santa. Yeah. Because he's being pulled by two wolves, so that would be his HQ. And the idea is, like, I have killed some of those wolves with grots before, so
back for vengeance.
So, like, we know that they could kill them. It's just whether or not the grots can kill enough of the wolves before they get in. It'd be like a reverse of that. What usually happens with Marines versus Space Wolves versus Ork, because you just
I think the grot guns would probably make You still there, Ricky? We lost your sound for a second.
I am.
Yeah, cool. I had issues with Discord yesterday as well, not on stream, but playing a game of Seafall with my friends down in Cardiff. Well, I say playing a game of Seafall with my friends are in Cardiff. The game of Seafall was online. You know what I mean.
So now for the RPG.
Yes.
Are you pre-genning characters for us?
Yeah, so for the late at night RPG 4-hour slot, which may not take 4 hours, it may take even longer, or might actually get done less time if you all die horribly. We're going to be running a Starfinder one-shot, which came for free RPG Day a few years back. So you'll all be playing Skittermanders, which is basically a super helpful, think Gremlins meets Goblins meets super helpful little 6-armed dudes. So yeah, it's a sort of light and funny-ish one where you guys are sort of the underdogs, trying to save your master, which would be quite a nice little one. It's one I've had knocking around for ages, but because last time around Starfinder I ran the big Dead Suns campaign, I didn't bother digging those out that time, and so I've never actually run this particular module, but I've read it and think it's quite sweet. So it should be quite a fun little one to run as a sort of middle of the night beer and pretzels styley.
And from what I've heard you saying before, Starfinder is the same universe as Pathfinder, is it?
Yeah, so Starfinder is basically Pathfinder a couple of thousand years in the future. And Paizo have done a really good job of sort of progressing the timeline for a fantasy universe into a science fantasy sci-fi setting. So you've still got magic, you've still got the gods, you've got the world that most of the Pathfinder adventures takes place on has gone missing, and that's sort of one of the underlying narrative hooks for the game. But you've also then got laser guns, which are just as effective in some cases as the magic. and they change around how the sort of skills and classes work. Rules wise, it's somewhere between Pathfinder 1 and Pathfinder 2. So the rule set isn't my favourite one to have played. There were, for a campaign, there were a few sort of big holes in it, but for a one shot, it'll be perfect. Because basically, if you know Pathfinder, you know most of what you need to know to play it, and sort of any changes are cosmetic.
Okay, so I want the character from my Pathfinder experience. I want a a character with all of their experience, all of the things in perception and stealth, because that's what kind of gets us through in Pathfinder all the time. It's like roll for perception, and then my perception got so high in the end, there's like I could only fail on it one.
Yeah. Yeah, Pathfinder does get a bit number bloat, doesn't it, at the higher levels? But I'm trying to think of, because it's been about a year, and well, no, it's been more than that. It's been nearly 2 years since I ran Starfinder last. Well, yeah, skills wise, it's mostly the same.
You're losing your sound a bit at the moment, so.
Oh, it's very strange. I'm hearing you fine, so I don't know whether my internet's playing silly whatsits. But I don't know whether the stream can see us or hear us or not.
Didn't know what project to do next. Maybe make a figure case. Thousand Suns or a Dread Knight and Redemptor Kid Bash. So that's Kieran Jenkins. He's been showing that he wants to do like the Redemptor Dread Knight.
Oh, cool.
Because that Kit Bash looks a bit better when it's all enclosed rather than the baby carrier.
Yeah. Yeah. Dread Knight definitely doesn't look, or Nemesis. Yeah, the Nemesis Dread Knight definitely doesn't look good with a guy in Terminator armor strapped to the front of it for no readily apparent reason. No, the one I did, I just basically turned it into a sarcophagus as if it was more like a dreadnought. But yeah, I can see sort of how a webbing cage or sort of roll cage type thing could look quite good. But
I like that one, to be fair. The especially with his massive pistol.
yeah.
Like me and Kieran joked about putting a thing on his, like a cowboy hat.
Yeah. Now the Redemptor Dreadnoughts, they remind me a bit of the Spark mechs from XCOM. So
If he does it, he'll have 3 Dread Knights then, because he picked up a nice a nice bundle on Facebook the other day.
Oh, nice.
So
must have a fair old sized army now, because I know there's a good couple of thousand points in what I sold him, and yeah, if he's been adding to it steadily since then, God knows how much he's got in there now.
I think he just put it all without weapons, just base models, onto a list the other day, and it came in at just shy of 5,000 points.
Nice. So probably more like 7 or 8 by the time you stick in all the upgrades and odds and
Side cannons on everyone.
Yep. Because why wouldn't you? I'm deliberately painting this a bit thick because even with green stuffing, the resin's still a bit striated, so excuse for bad painting.
Yeah, and mine are just going to be rushed. That's my excuse. And it's not really sticking for some reason. This it's It's the Gracia spray, just the contrast spray,
Yeah.
but it's just all pulling together, and I'm having to go over multiple times, so he's going to look a bit darker than what my other ones do. It'll be fine. Maybe, well, like I said, these are going to be a pretty rush job.
You can always go back and tidy them up at a later date if you...
Yeah, it's just so that they're painted for the stream, basically. And I've got 3 colours on them now. Green, grey, and black.
Result, they are tournament legal. Bit of red and they're done. I think I'm going to cut paint bottles open more often with the army painter ones, because there's a good chunk of paint in here that I would have otherwise thrown away.
So is that the downside of the dropper bottles?
Well, I mean, you still get way more paint in them. But yeah, it's getting to the last bits when it's gone a little bit thicker and gravity is no longer quite letting it out. Is minorly problematic.
I just realised that this one is on a tiny base. You don't care about base sizes,
No.
do you?
I care about rolling dice and dying horribly.
I'm not basing for advantage.
He's just one of the old ones, is he?
Yeah, I think so. He is a knob, isn't he?
Look.
I think he's more of a boss knob, but that's fine because he looks a bit scrawnier than the other guys, but that's fine.
He might be one of the old. Is he a metal one or is he a plastic?
No, he's plastic. He's just. I'll
break out the detail cam.
Yeah, break out the detail cam for the first time. Remember to mute myself this time. Okay.
Nope, still got echo. Oh, he's one of the is he one of the starter set knobs? The Black Reach?
He might be.
Yeah, he looks familiar from that.
So
oh, you're still muted, Ricky.
I'm
not.
I'm muted on the thing, but I'm not on the
phone.
Yeah, so he looks a bit smaller. There we go.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you can tell what he is. I could just remove him first. No. Kieran's asking, are the new Orks replacing something? They are literally like Primaris by the looks of it. So they're going to be bigger, apparently, but they're not as durable as a knob. So...
And everyone likes durable knobs. For
So, yeah, I think it's a way of bringing in a new boys kit, which people have been crying out for a while. Because the current kit is from like 3rd edition.
Yeah, it is a little bit old. But yeah, in the same way that when they brought in Primaris, they didn't want to upset all the people who've got thousands and thousands of things if they bring it in, but with slightly better stats, so everyone by default chooses the new kit when they go for it. Then eventually they can slide off the old kit without having to keep it in production, because I'm sure the thinking behind it.
Yeah, they're going to just go wait until the sales drop enough.
Yeah, then it'll go made to order, or sorry, website only, then it'll go made to order, then it'll go goodbye.
But what I'm hoping we get from this is a new, because they seem to be snake bites. So maybe we'll get a new weird boy as well. That's plastic instead of resin.
That would be nice. Can but hope.
I'm just happy with anything. Like I like the new models, and I'm definitely going to be buying them. But I could see me running like the snaggers if I carry on as evil sons.
Yeah.
I'll have to run the snaggers as bikes, basically.
Well, it depends on what the composition choices are. You could just run them as evil sons that are too tough for bikes, so they prefer speed that is moving underneath them.
Speed that can bite back.
Yeah.
So added thrill.
They misread the instruction to go get some hogs. Oh, this Aquila is going to take like 6 coats of white, I feel. I mean, from a distance, it looks alright, but the second you get anywhere near it, you can see all the strokes, and I don't think that's going
I was going to say, it looks pretty good on the stream.
Yeah, so providing you stand, I don't know, even at arm's length, it's quite noticeable. So providing you only ever watch it on the stream, it'll look lovely.
Oh, and we've got a learn to paint session on stream to start the stream on Saturday as well. So I spoke to Miles earlier.
Oh, that's
He's going
cool.
to be painting a Imperial Fist.
Ooh, showing everyone how to do that sweet, sweet yellow.
Yeah. So if you want any if you've got any questions about painting, come join us at 10 a.m. for the first stream of the day, when we're all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Before the coffee's even had a chance to kick in.
I can't tell what's Ork and what's bandage. He's got like an eye patch on, but it looks more like a head scarf as well. He's going to have a head scarf just to differentiate them.
He's going to be Pirate Ork.
Yeah. Was Adam joining us for a chat?
I don't know.
I'll get back to you.
I don't know whether it just got lost in the stream of planning. If not, I'll catch him tomorrow, because I'm pretty sure we can get by, because you guys have got the guest questioning thing down to a fine art for Monday, so I'll just be on hand to squee and fanboy a little bit in Livingston, and
and then I've just checked the Facebook event up, so feel free to let us know if you're going to come, and
if you've got any questions for in Livingston that you want us to ask. I mean, the sort of one thing that's slightly daunting me about interviewing him is his career is so varied. He's done so many things in gaming. Where do you even start? It's like,
I know, because it is literally gaming legend. Like, we were talking about it yesterday, when we were having me and Adam were just chatting, and he's like, yeah, so like they're responsible for D&D coming to this country. Well, they probably would have at some point, but they were the ones who brought the original. They went out and met Gary Gygax and all of that, and so like, yeah, Adam was geeking out a bit about him last night, about Ian Livingstone last night as we were chatting, and it is just that thing of, and then you go into the IDOS stuff, and
but also along the way started Games Workshop out of their bedrooms. It's like,
yeah.
It's like, how cool is that? But yes.
Oh, is that a question for us or a question for Ian?
Right,
I don't think it'd be suitable for.
Yeah, I don't think because he was sort of in at the start of it rather than through the development. I don't know how much involvement in the 40k side of things he actually had, because GW when it started off was more about the fantasy to start with, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you'd have to go and read a hell of a lot of wiki articles to find out exactly where he got in and out. But I don't remember seeing him on any of the sort of rogue trader credits or anything like that. So I suspect that was after his time at GW. But for us, I'd actually like to see Skaven get a 40k treatment.
That would be cool.
Either that or a return of the Beastmen, because you used to have Beastmen as Imperial Guard abhumans and Warriors of Chaos, but it'd be quite nice to see Beastmen. Seraphon or Lizard Folk would be another sort of missing from 40k that are in fantasy. That'd be nice to.
For me, if we're taking out the, like, just expanding some of the chaos into their own codexes, for me I would like to see, I don't know, Skaven sounds cool. Space Skaven.
Yeah, see, I thought I would have gone Scots, but they've had their thing, and I don't know that they'd be able to put enough different stuff in, if you know what I mean, to make them doable, especially as they've already done the mining aspect with the Gene Stealer cults, and that was the other thing that sort of squats were all about. So I think it'd be quite hard for them to put a stamp on it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, they did do that squat model a couple of years ago, though, didn't they? The mercenary for next window, was it?
Yes, yeah.
You could just buy loads and loads of them, just like with the what are they called? The Sound Marines.
Noise Marines.
Yeah, Noise Marines, that's the word. I couldn't remember the word then. With the Noise Marines, you get like one figure for £20, so like you gotta just keep going and going.
In the same pose or hella conversion, yeah.
Yeah, so I like the idea of Skaven, but I think I would like, I don't know, from reading Horus Heresy, maybe someone like the Interacts to come back. But I guess they would kind of be Taoish. But like they sounded interesting with like centaurs with like energy weapons that just seem to tear through power armor and anti-chaos. So they'd be like a cross between Eldar and Tau, wouldn't they then?
I mean, Zoets would be nice as well, or Zotes. They were I think they were part of Tyranids at one point, but they were Centauri type things.
And then for Kieran, he'd like to see more Fallen. I wouldn't be surprised if there is something on the horizon Fallen-wise, because why else would they release Luther in the lore? He's been released from the rock, so I wouldn't be surprised if something's coming that way. I like of things that I might get something. I wouldn't mind seeing Emperor's Children, and then I'd be out buying another Chaos bloody army. And Simon's going, "Ooh, I hope they release Emperor's Children now," and a Fulgrim model to go with it as well.
Yeah,
which would be very nice.
I tell you what is weird: the disproportionate representation between fantasy and 40k. Because sort of fantasy, you've got sort of the Head Knights of Slaanesh, you've got tons and tons of stuff, and they got that fairly recently. And then 40k, you've got nothing really.
What's that for Slaanesh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they might be the next one, because he's been popping up in the lore a bit as well, so it's a possibility. And like one of the channels I watch on YouTube, they were on about like just any of the Primarchs showing back up is a likely possibility because of how much they sell, model kit wise.
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it, to work out sort of which you'd prefer to come for sort of game development reasons, which you think is going to come for mercenary reasons. And,
like in reality, you'd probably want a loyalist next, just because you got 2 chaos, but the loyalists have got enough bloody things. So like,
what about Exodite Eldar? So Savage Eldar, or not quite Savage Eldar, but Primitive Eldar riding dinosaurs.
yeah, that's pretty cool as well. I saw that yesterday when I was looking at something and asked that exact question. Yeah, Kieran's saying that he finds it odd that some of the first chapters don't even have their own codex. Well, a lot of them don't now. Even the different flavors of Space Marines have had theirs taken off them, like the Blood Angels and the Space Wolves are now in Codex Space Marines, aren't they?
Yeah, see, I think that's a good thing, because I don't think you need an entire another book for all the different chapters. And I think they'd keep more people with the thing if you went, all right, I buy this one book and I've got all of the Loyalist Marines. I buy this one book and I've got all of the Guard and Inquisition stuff. I buy this one book and I've got all of the thing. They'd probably get a lot more sort of cross sales if they went down that route.
But then they go and say, yeah, but if you don't run it as your own, if you soup, all your Space Marines are now in this book. But if you decide to try and go battalion of Space Wolves to run in and punch things, and a battalion of Imperial Fists to sit back and shoot things, so that you get the best of both worlds, you are going to lose some perks. It's the specialist doctrines for Space Marines, isn't it, that they lose?
Yeah.
Those doctrines in themselves are a pain in the ass. I don't like them.
You'll be pleased to know I haven't taken any of those for the game on the weekend, partly because I didn't have Codex Space Marines to hand to remind myself what they did in the current edition, because I haven't played Marines in the current edition yet, and partly because I like them a bit more old school.
stay on your page. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so like those doctrines where, okay, it's round 1, so now when I shoot you with long range things, they're gonna do extra damage. I've only got t-shirts on. Okay, so I hit and I wound. Okay, there goes all my boys.
Just move that out of the way. Try and get some of this paint off the clippers, because while it was a good idea, I've completely covered my knife and clippers with paint. That was less than an optimum plan.
What about you guys in the chat? Well, if you could pick anything to come to either come back or be introduced as a new army. So what was the, like, because obviously like me and Kieran have only been collecting for what, 2 years? What was the last army to be released then? Was it Death Guard or
Thousand Suns? No, Thousand Suns, I think, were the last faction to get its own thing, if you know what I mean, as far as I can remember.
I thought Thousand Suns had theirs before Death Guard, because Magnus was out before.
Was he?
Mortarion, wasn't he?
Could well be. Trying to remember now.
But like new, like not something like, oh, we're in the Chaos Codex.
Well, Sisters was models rather than Codex.
Gene Stealer Cult.
Yeah.
Christian.
But again, a lot of the stuff is old new, because it's stuff that was around back in 2nd and 3rd edition, and just went away for a bit. And
people
came back. So
one of the things
excuse if you hear any background noises. My wife's wandering past the laptop.
People always want dark guard as well as the popular one. The people, because they exist in the lore.
Yeah, and again, they've been in Imperial armor forever and a day, and on the Forge World stuff. Right, come here, big thing. Time.
That's what I was going to say about the Grot army earlier. Was like, you could do like some of the more punchy Grot stuff, like Grot tanks and stuff, but they're expensive.
Yeah, a lot of the Forge World bits, unfortunately, are. Nope.
Oh, I've been playing Total War.
All right.
And you're never going to believe what I'm going to say next. It's got me. I'm playing the starter campaign with the dwarves, because it was like the one that was recommended as a beginner campaign, and it's making me hate fucking orcs.
You've been orc stomped one too many times in that, have you?
Yeah, I beat them. I secure the place. I sit somewhere, and then go. And then when I think, oh, they've gone and leave, they come back out of the bushes and attack the thing again, and it's yeah, there is dark admech in the lore, but
I guess Warpsmith for Chaos Space Marines is the closest to Dark Admech in the game so far.
But yeah, in the lore there is, because obviously they've got Titans, they've got Knights, and I think like the Adeptus Mechanicus, was split down the middle because, like in the law, I think there's less restrictions on what they can do as with chaos. They could be a bit more.
Yeah, they can use more AI and things like that in a total rip-off of June.
Yeah. And
honest Gov is not the Butlerian jihad. Don't mind us. Move along. And
they can use, chop people up and go, oh, if we take that out and we put this in.
I mean, to be fair, that seems to be the AdMex way of doing things as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. And the Iron Hands.
How servitors aren't chaos.
Yeah, they could probably use Xenotech. I like things like demon engines, making weird tanks and then trapping demons inside them. So like, and then you end up with like plague burst crawlers and defilers and stuff like that. And obliterators. That must be like something that really gets the dark ad mech going. A melding of a man and a machine to the point where you can like shoot bullets of your own flesh. Gonna build yourself a dark ad mech army now, Key.
You just have to not mind losing a few special rules, and there you go.
Oh, that's so subject at the moment.
Too soon? Too soon.
No, it's just that, for the chaos, every chaos army apart from Death Guard.
Yep.
And the only Imperium of Man Chaos, Space Marine army that haven't had the 2 wounds update at the moment are the Grey Knights. So he was asking about whether or not if we get to a point where we can play and the Codex hasn't come out, would it be okay to just play them with the extra wounds?
I reckon it'd be fun for trials, see how they do for the same points. Because I don't think Tactical Marines got particularly more expensive with their getting extra wounds, did they?
Yeah, the only thing that, like I said, I wouldn't mind trying, but the only thing it is that you'd have to look at the difference in points between a psychic Terminator and a non-psychic.
Yes, although in recent editions,
from
they
8th edition.
Yeah, they still weren't that much more expensive, I seem to remember.
So if they're the same price, then yeah, it's fine, I guess. That was my only thing, because he was going off the price of at the moment, and it was like, yeah, but the normal ones don't get to smite you. Yeah, I want every army as well, Key. Apart from the Space Marine ones. Only the bad Space Marines are for me.
I think that might actually be an interesting thing to put in a actual force of good, because
I was thinking that as well.
It's very grimdark, and obviously there's a lot of they're the baddies, but they're the goodies type stuff for the Imperium going on. I wonder if they could get away with putting in something like.
You know who the goodies actually are, don't you?
Technically Tau.
No, it's these guys.
Orks. They're honest, at least. They just like the crumping.
Yeah, that's all they're about. There's nothing else with them.
you say that. Back in the old days, they used to live on the same planets as humans and fight them in street gangs. So So there's a nice, because I was having a look through my old Rogue Trader book while looking for the scenario map. And there's a nice bit about sort of a world in the Eye of Terror, which is in Rogue Trader days just a warp storm, not particularly sort of any Crusade-led mass warp storm. And it sort of comes and goes up to 8 years apart. There's a world on there, and every 8 years the Imperium go in and conquer it again. And in the meantime, sort of on the planet, the Ork gangs and the human gangs are fighting in the streets. So yeah, and then there's sort of Ork slavers in sort of that original lore, and obviously that all changes and goes aside. I think sometimes Orks do get played a bit too much for comedy. So you're not going to be able to see much this time. Trying to get under.
Yeah, but that's what we all love about them, isn't it? They're the lovable things. If they weren't comedy, then they're quite horrible. So I'm at a quandary with these now.
Yeah.
So I've got a load of like metal to do on them. So do I do them quick with like it's the contrast, not Black Templar, contrast Basilicanum Grey, which is what like they suggest on like the Warhammer community of how to paint things, but it's dull.
I'd lead Beltram.
I know, that's the thing, right? That is what I was thinking, because like this, I done the grot guns and stuff in this stuff just to do it quick. Well, because that's what I'd done them all in contrast, but I really don't particularly like the finish. They just look like grey. Right, so even though I've brought it out to the pot, I'm gonna get some lead belcher on them, but I'm gonna do the red first instead then. So, like I'm gonna do the teeth in like non-contrast anyway. So,
not tempted to skeleton horde them and see how they come out.
Well, like that's what I've got here. This is skeleton horde ready. I tend to use this for like cloth. It looks a bit better on like the wraps around the
like a leathery binding.
Yeah, that's what I tend to use that on. Okay, I've got that's Monfran Brown. So it's lucky I didn't start using that because I thought it was red because that looks red to me. I was thinking it was. I thought it was Evil Sun Scarlet, and
that would have been an unpleasant mistake.
And yeah, they could have been snake bites.
They could indeed. Oh, come on, get in there. There we go. Right. Well, having turned this up this way, I've just noticed that I haven't even started on the tracks yet. Oh my god. So many things to still paint.
Oh, I found my wildwood as well. My brown for the boots. Okay. I can't find my lead belcher.
The silicone grey is them.
I've got other lead belchers. It's just why start another one when I'm already got one open thing. I got it.
Hey.
Okay, so Alright, so let's go Flesh Terror Red. I know it's red. That's the main thing about this.
Says so on the bottle.
Yeah. It might not be the normal red that I use, but it's fine. I could come back and treat it as a base coat and put some Evil Sun Scarlet over it. It's quite a rich red though. Let's see what it looks like on them, is it?
You might find that sort of once it's on and dried, it's you like it better, and you're then gonna have to go and repaint a whole bunch of other stuff.
Don't say such hurtful things, Simon. Do you know how long it took me last summer?
I have a pretty good idea.
Do you know what I did last summer?
Everyone knows what you did last summer.
Okay, so
sorry for the concentrating sounds.
If Chris is still in the chat as well, then what would your or if anyone else who's watching wants to pipe in and say what their idea would be for a new army? If I get like time as well, I don't know if I will. I might try and base it all as well.
Oh, you devil, you! My bases are painted but not textured, so I'm in no hurry to get started on those because there's 100 of those swines to do. It's a full battle company all the same colour, so.
Yeah, so like I was gonna. So like to be fair, I thought he was based, but my plan has been with all of the orcs is all of the orcs is to get them painted first and then go back and base once everything's painted. So that means they'll never be based.
Or they will one day, depending on how many other shiny new armies come along.
So I have based the Gorgonaut. That's based, and Orkwise, I think that's about it. Oh well, not Mortarion. Gazgal's based, but I didn't paint him.
Well, he comes with based already, doesn't he? Stand down on the wreckage.
Hello, Kieran.
Simon said hello.
Hello.
And we're asking, what would, if you could put any army into 40k, what would it be?
Skaven. Nothing stopping them from coming out of the warp.
Simon said Skaven as well.
They'd be great. They would work and function the same as orcs in theory, as scavengers.
I don't know. I think they'd be that you'd have interesting things to do them. I can see them sort of being fusion tech, like mix and matching stuff that other races use.
Yeah.
Oh, the Dark Admech. They're all Dark Admech. They're just Chaos Admech.
Yeah, but there's no actual army.
No.
Kieran's reading back through all of the comments.
Yeah.
Men of Iron could be interesting, but wouldn't it just be kind of like primitive custodies?
You mean automatons?
No, the Men of Iron were the stuff that the Emperor used before Space Marines.
Oh, sort of like the guys in charge of the Green Lanterns.
Yeah. And then when they got too powerful, he killed them all and made the Space Marines instead.
Just like the Green Lanterns.
Yep. It all comes back to comic books.
It pretty much does. Well, I guess the designers are reading the same things as everyone else, and it's bound to bleed into some of your design choices if it's a thing you like. That said, though, completely off a 40k subject, I've
Bring these back to comic books, you know that, Rick? That's what makes the world go round.
We can't hear whatever you're saying, Simon.
there we are. No, sorry, I paused because I heard Kieran, so I was hearing what he was adding. I've been reading a bunch of space science fiction, the Hannah Harrington series of late, and that's made me want to play a space naval game. And I see that Osprey have got Billion Suns out, and some of the guys up the Swansea War Games and Board Games Club have been getting ready and painting that. So I'm thinking about picking myself up a copy of that and having a look at that, because I quite like the idea of big space fleet battles and things like that, especially after all these books I've been reading recently, which is very much sort of naval combat space stuff.
I was going to go, there's such thing as Armada, right? Star Wars.
Yeah, I don't know. Armada was partly the availability of it, and not quite fleety enough, if you know what I mean. It's I want big chunks of ships, sort of destroyer squadrons, flanking cruisers with dreadnoughts and things like that. So something more like Firestorm Armada used to be, which I think, did that get remade by War Cradle yet? Because I know they bought all the or inherited all the Spartan licenses, but inherited bought something. That's right. Let's do tracks, even though it's going to kill me. Actually, no. Let's not do tracks because it's 25 to 10, and if I start that now, I won't get those done before we go off air. So I might just paint the front of the. No, do you know what? I'm going to get some Balthazar gold out, and I'm going to put some gold on some of the big decoration bits. Blow my Balthazar gold. I'm going to get some army painter gold because I've clearly lost all my greedy gold. That'll do me.
What are you eyeing up in there?
I was just looking at your death card. These are the guys from the Saga of the Beast box, yeah?
I think so, yeah.
I recognise this guy because he reminded me of like a orcish Cyclops from X-Men.
I was going to say, he probably reminds you of an orc because he is an orc.
Crazy talk.
Where's death card? Green, right?
Yeah.
Oh no. My blue paint lid has just rolled into my...
Simon's been cutting open his paints.
Lid's not sealing. He didn't seal properly, is it?
No, he just knew that there was more paint inside.
And I was going to run out of paint to finish what I was painting, otherwise butchered the bottle to get to the last of the paint.
Like when people have shampoo and they put a bit of water in it to get the last bits out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that, but that would be like...
but with a hobby knife.
Yeah. Hobby knives just give me PTSD.
There's a pair of headphones for that. You can hear what he's saying if you plug in.
Yeah, let's get Kieran on a mic as well. Maybe have him join the stream next week and come chat and paint as well.
I think he kind of sensed what you said then.
I hear you.
Because he gave the look hang on a minute. I said, get on the mic, and Simon said, yeah, you can join us and paint with us from next week. Other Kieran can do that as well if you want. That's what this is supposed to be about. It was just like, it's the time to come and hang and paint. Get some of your painting done.
He's all gone quiet now.
Yeah. Or get your piles of opportunities done.
Pile of sadness, more like.
Oh, it's not sadness. You know, if it was sadness, you wouldn't buy it. I know you don't like painting it, but
Or if you really don't like painting it, bite the bullet and pay someone else to paint it. That's the other.
what was that? If you don't like painting it, just bite the bullet and paint it.
No, bite the bullet and pay someone else to paint it.
And pay someone else to paint it.
Well, I paid Miles to paint my Lehman Russ and the Wolfkin.
There we are.
And
So just
fantastic job.
there we are. Just see how much you'll charge you for the rest of the army.
I think like a die would be a better bet for doing a full army, price wise.
Yeah, I think Miles is very much the detail painter.
Yeah.
And I don't know. He might if you said.
Oh
to
yeah,
himself,
if you told him I just want a tabletop.
Yeah.
Then yeah, it might be so. I'm going to try and paint my first like centerpiece at some point.
Cool. Which one are you
Not
going to
pay
go for?
someone else. I'm going to do the great and clean one myself.
Oh, nice.
Big boy.
Because he should be quite easy.
We primed him already as Death Guard Green.
Yes, he's primed the Death Guard green, so it might just be like go over with a wash.
Yep.
Then pick out some highlights. Paint the pink bits pink. Put some Nurgle's Rot on.
Yeah,
So,
that's the thing with some of the bigger models. You don't need to do a load to it because the washes and the already sculpted detail cover a lot of it.
And like we were saying earlier about Amazon, if they were listening, we would like something. Hey, Games Workshop, if you're listening, I will happily break my thing of not painting centerpiece models if you send me a Chaos Knight. Worth a try.
Worth a try. Unfortunately, their social media is far too together these days for all their community. I can't see them branching out, no matter how cool we are.
I know. Well, they do give to like people who do battle reports. They give them like the codex and stuff early to do reports and stuff to help them sell things. I guess a knight is kind of like old now, so it's unlikely that they're going to go, oh, you know what, that guy who's not painting like professionally or anything, just wants to paint that might help boost sales. It wouldn't, would it?
No, what we need is like 1 million followers before we start getting those sort of joyous deals.
Who knows? Once we do this battle report on the weekend, well, not battle report, just a battle, we might work out how we can do that for going forward, and then we can put them up, and then maybe that's something people would be interested in watching. That could be interesting.
Yeah, I rather suspect, though, that the people who enjoy watching battle reports aren't necessarily going to want to watch casual reports, if you know what I mean. It's, I don't know.
You
maybe.
Broke up completely then.
Oh, I was just saying that I rather suspect that sort of the battle report community is more competitive focused than our style of game we might perhaps support.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
But, well, it's not a problem if that's what they enjoy. But,
Oh no, I don't mean like for what we were doing, what we would be doing, because yeah, we wouldn't be. And like when I'm watching them and they've got the chat, like the people who are doing battle reports and stuff seem to be really good at the game and know all the rules and all these weird combinations that I would never look at the book and go, oh yeah, that works like that. But even they are being told in the chat, oh, you've done that wrong. So that's all my chat would say. You done that wrong.
That could be the name of the stream.
Yeah. Maybe some X-Wing on the stream might work a bit better though.
Yeah,
Because
that
that's
could be,
one static camera, really.
could be quite a nice little one. Either that will maybe do some time-lapse X-Wing games. You can get a camera that does a time-lapse well. Because an X-Wing battle or a 40k battle that happens with commentary after the fact might be quite an interesting way to do it. So rather than watching 4 hours of people throwing dice, you watch 20 minutes of highlights, as it were.
I think the problem you've got with that is the same as when what we've got with YouTube. We would need someone who fancies doing like editing and stuff to make sure that certain bits are picked out so that you can see what's happening on them.
So, well, since we are community-led and community-driven, maybe the community will tell us what sort of things they're looking for in their 40k commentary. Speaking of which, where is our viewer who always shouts 40k at us?
What was that?
Where's our viewer who always shouts 40k at us in the chat? Can't remember their username.
Primitive One, he's not here today. He did join Chris and Kieran for the Warhammer stream the other day.
Cool.
And that's the other thing. We won't be doing a group stream on Friday because we all need our beauty sleep so that you can see us looking our best on Saturday morning.
Before you see us looking our worst on Sunday morning after a full 24 hours of streaming.
I was telling Miles that playing RPG at 2 a.m. is probably going to be the point where I'm going to flag. And he said, oh, people might tune in just to watch you fall face first into a table.
There is that. Well, so that's going to be quite an interesting game because there's going to be a couple of us in the shop the whole way through, sort of doing the socially distanced streaming thing. But some of our players will be joining us from the comfort of their own beds for that one, won't they? Yeah.
Yeah, you broke up again then, sorry.
Well, yeah, so the role play that we're running will be run from the shop, and there'll be a couple of us socially distanced there, sort of doing that, but still sat in front of our computers as if we were playing further afield. So it's going to be quite an odd experience, I think, that one.
Yeah, we might have to set up a microphone in between us for that. Sit opposite ends of the 2-meter table.
We've got plenty of screens in the shop as well, so we can. If it's
I'm just thinking, I'm quite loud. You might pick me up on your bloody. I might not be at that point of the day. I'll have spoken a lot probably, so it might be okay. I was just thinking, I'm quite loud. If we're in the same room and I'm talking on one mic and you're talking on another mic,
yeah, we might get some echo.
Yeah, so.
Cool. What's your thoughts? How near to done are you on these guys? So I'm running out of things to paint gold.
You're breaking up a bit again.
Oh, that's very strange. I'm getting you nice and clearly, so I don't know what's going on there.
Don't know if it's breaking up on stream, but
If anyone in the audience would care to tell us, can I still be heard, or is Ricky's internet playing him foul?
can you hear me fine?
I can hear you fine 99% of the time. So I don't know what's going on there.
You can hear you fine.
There we are. So maybe it's something on your net dropping out.
It's weird. Do I have to plug my headphones into the Twitch to hear you like 30 seconds later?
Yeah, we'll have a light speed conversation. But, oh, so much gold. So much gold. Get the first coat of this on and then go back and make it look pretty another day.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do these another time. I'm gonna they're gonna do for Saturday, but I will have to come back at some point. I think
finish the prettification of them.
Yeah.
Shall we start doing our wrap up then and call it for this evening? Because I'm at a point where I'm probably reasonably good to stop as well.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so that has been our Wednesday night. I keep thinking it's Thursday. That's been our Wednesday night hobby stream for this week. Don't forget to join us on Saturday for the 24-hour con. You can donate if you're able to the Wales Ape and Monkey Sanctuary through our GoFundMe page. And for every £100, we will be giving away prizes. So it's well worth watching and donating because you get a chance to win stuff too. And we won't be back tomorrow, but we'll be on. Not tomorrow, Friday. See, I'm still thinking it's Thursday. We won't be back on Friday. We won't be on Friday because of the con on Saturday. So yeah, join us then. We got some great stuff coming up. We got painting. We've got TCG games.
Live music, guests, artists in Leviathan. Yeah. All of the things.
Yeah, all of the things. So thank you very much, and we'll catch you next week, I guess. No, right, Saturday. Saturday. All of that saying Saturday. Yeah, we'll catch you all Saturday. But we'll be on our Discord and on our Facebook and everything. So if you want to see us doing anything in particular, just send us a request. But other than that, bye.
Thanks for watching. Bye.